What's going on, people of the internet? My name is Denny, or Denny Cigarette, and today I got a very special video for you guys. We're going to be doing the Opioid Odyssey's Part 2. Before we get into the video, I'd like to cover two things. Number one, according to YouTube Analytics, only 7% of you guys are subscribed, so if you please could, drop a subscribe and drop a like. That would greatly help the channel. And secondly, as always, there are drug test kits in the description. If you are using drugs, please buy them. They can save a life. But without further ado, let's get into the story. So this story took place about 3 years ago, and at the time, this is just when I was just about getting into dilaudid and all the opioids that soon followed. But basically, this day started like no other. I woke up, popped 4 to 5 4 milligram dilaudids, just a pregame, and kind of starve off withdrawal. And I at the time, we were flipping some shit. I ain't gonna go into too much detail, but let's say 300 of something was about to get stolen from me. But I didn't know it at the time. At the time I just thought, I got a big sale. But we'll get into that. And at this point in my life, I really just didn't give two flying fucks about where I was going. And that can be a very scary mindset to have, and I want people or kids who are watching this and maybe thinking about doing opiates, that they really change you as a person, and they really change and realign your values without you even realizing it. But anyways, I digress. So, basically, I get hit up by this guy named Greg, who I mentioned in the cooking crack video. And Greg said that he knew a guy deep in the hood that was really looking to, make a name for himself and start selling. So he told me I could make a big serve and it would go completely fine. And basically he's like, yeah, bro, here's the Snapchat of him. So I go ahead and check this guy's Snapchat, and we'll call this guy Manny. Now, Manny was a real street guy. It wasn't exactly my usual tweaker, or it's just someone trying to do drugs, right? This was someone definitely intertwined with politics and this sort of thing like that, right? And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, this is just someone, he's definitely hopefully he's all about business, and the hope was that the serve would go well. So he hits me up and he tells me to meet him in the worst fucking location possible. Once again, I'm not going to go into details about that, but it was basically as simple as I can put it. It was basically under a bridge, which really made me question the validity of this guy and what the fuck we were doing, because under a bridge, yeah, it's secretive, but it's secretive enough where I could get shot. But I was so blinded because of all the drugs and whatnot that I really didn't think anything of it, and I was just like, oh, let's go do this. Hindsight's 20/20, however, and I realize now that this was clearly a fucking setup, and I was most likely, either way, was doomed to get robbed. Greg says he'll pick me up, so me and Greg comes down, he picks me up, we go driving, and it's a cool drive, we're smoking a blunt, it's a good time, and I pre-gamed some, 2 more dilaudids, and I was just kind of, we were chilling, we were riding through. I didn't do enough to nod, I was still wide awake, and basically, this was about, I want to say, a 3-4 hour drive. It was a ridiculous distance, and this was out of my jurisdiction, really my jurisdiction, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? And I was thinking okay, wow, I'm really gonna get connected down here, this is a new area, let's meet some people, let's have a good time, maybe we can ask them if there's any parties going on. That's what's going through my head at the time. I'm not even thinking about the fact that he's trying to meet me under the bridge to possibly rob me, just because, once again, I'll keep saying this, the drugs really blinded me, and I kind of felt invincible, and I was above the law or above people, and I would never have something like that happen to me. So right before we stopped at the sale, he said he was running a little late. That's fine. So while we were down in this undisclosed area, me and Greg went and got kava. Now, kava's pretty chill. It's not one of my favorites, but Greg seemed to really fuck with it. So I just decided, I'm not going to do any, but I'll go chill out. I'll let Greg do his double shot, and we'll try and just chill out. I will admit, though, this kava bar was fucking sick, bruh. They had, like, gaming live streams going instead of sports. And then, like, I actually went back there one time during Halloween. And during Halloween, they had a panda as a guy in a panda costume, that was DJing. And I thought that was fucking sick for Halloween. So I asked Greg how he's feeling. He's feeling a little loopy. Still says he's able to drive. It is what it is. So, and by the way, don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs and drive. You're a fucking idiot if you do. That is the worst thing you can do. I was a fucking idiot for getting in the car. And I've never personally myself used drugs and driven, or drank and driven, anything like that. I do not believe in that. I think it's a stupid idea. However, once again, back in the day, I was kind of blinded by the drugs and didn't realize how much that, him using could affect his driving, and potentially get us pulled over, endangering people on the road, etc. Like, that shit's not cool. But I digress. So soon we get to, like, under this bridge area, and already I'm sketched the fuck out. It's a bunch of homeless tents and shit, and I'm not gonna say scared, because I wasn't. But I was definitely questioning why the hell he would meet us here, right? Like, this isn't really the usual surf spot, but once again, I'm unfamiliar with the area, at least now. Back then, I wasn't. And I just figured, okay, like, he's from the streets, this is probably normal to him. Like, maybe I'm just putting too much, don't judge a book by its cover type shit. So eventually, he pulls up, right, and he kind of slides next to my car. And we're both chatting and shit, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, I need to skirt out of here real quick. I got your envelope full of money. Just hand me the shit." And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, yeah, you just need to get out of here real quick." And it didn't alarm me at all, and I don't know why. Looking once again, hindsight's 2020. I realized that he had parked very specifically so he could just zoom the fuck out of there. And you'll see why I say that in a second. But I throw him the 300 of something, right? And he gives me an envelope, and immediately he just goes as fast as he can and just starts skirting away. And this was the biggest mistake I've made since I started doing that. And basically, I checked the envelope, and it's all like movie prop money, and I've never been so fucking pissed in my life. I mean, it wasn't even good money, prop money. This shit was like paper with like the Illuminati instead of George Washington on it. You know what I mean? Like those type of 20s, some bullshit. So obviously I'm fucking pissed. I go ahead and hit him up, and I'm like, "Bro, what the fuck? Like, what happened?" And funny enough, he says, "Oh, bro, I handed you the wrong envelope type shit, bro. It wasn't even like that. Like, we really cool like that. I get you next time." And let's take a wild fucking guess on what happened. He never hit me up again, and his ass blocked me. And of course, I don't do this shit anymore. But if you're thinking about selling, don't do it. All it gets you is either prison sentence, dead, or you get strung out on the drugs that you're selling. In my experience, only people who are smart enough to get out actually make it. But once again, I wouldn't recommend anyone do this. I actually ended up facing some pretty substantial charges after I got caught up for doing it, and we'll go into that in another video. But once again, as someone who's been through the game, I don't recommend you do it. At the end of the day, if I really sat down, worked a 9 to 5, invested my money right, and opened maybe a few like legal side hustles out on the side, I would have had a lot more money than I made selling. And that's something I wish people would understand, is that fast, easy money isn't always better than slow, stable money, if that makes sense. So that's my piece of advice to you. And the moral of the story is, number 1, don't do what I do. And number 2, don't go under the bridge or you're going to get robbed. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, sub. It doesn't hurt you. It just benefits me. I appreciate it. Please like the video. And yeah, I hope you all have a good one. All right, deuces.